Before we get to tonight's movie, I understand that you saw Oppenheimer in the theater.
Yeah.
Like so many other people. And we're going to talk about Oppenheimer in detail later on in Seen It, but I want you to tell about a weird thing that happened to you after you saw the movie.
Well, I hadn't been to a movie theater in a long time, and it was crazy packed, and for some reason, anyone under 20 years old is wearing pajamas.
Sure.
It was one of those places where they have beer, and like you'd order food. It was just so busy, and I ordered like a beer or two, but then the next day I look at the bill, and it's $728.
Jesus.
But they were very nice. Call them up. And, you know, the manager was very understanding. He's like, oh, I'm pretty sure you didn't have 24 beers. Even though it is a long movie.
When you looked at your credit card statement, did the lights suddenly get bright and everything started shaking?
I love that scene. It's nice you can just get a beer at movie theaters nowadays.
It's not bad.
Remember old University Square? You could drink beer there before it was cool.
I saw the 40-year-old virgin there.
So that must have really connected with you.
Okay. Welcome to the basement, Dylan Brogan.
Thank you.
I have a movie to show you. You don't know what it is. You're going to be shocked and surprised, and then we're going to have some fun.
I believe it.
Normally on this show, the movie that I reveal to you is in this envelope.
Ooh.
But not today. It is in this envelope.
Ooh, I thought that went away.
It did. This is one of the last they shipped, and when they shipped them, they said, just keep them. We don't want them back.
Wow.
So I got this movie because I knew I wanted to watch it on this show someday, and that day has come.
Finally.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has had quite a career. A lot of people think that his big screen debut was Conan the Barbarian, but it was not, because he was in the documentary Pumping Iron back in 1977, which we watched on this show. And not a lot of people know that he had a brief cameo in the Robert Altman film The Long Goodbye, which I believe was 1974. But that was not even his first movie appearance. His first movie appearance was in 1970 in a little movie called Hercules in New York.
It sounds like Elf. You know what I mean? A fish out of water.
Right.
That's not where Hercules is supposed to be.
No. Released in 1970, H.I.N.Y. stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Deborah Loomis, and Arnold Stang. Love that guy. Balking at his thick Austrian accent, the producers decided to overdub all of Mr. Schwarzenegger's lines with the voice of an uncredited actor. They also balked at his thick Austrian last name, billing him in the credits as Arnold Strong, Mr. Universe.
They spent a lot of time workshopping that one.
This version that we're going to watch tonight does have the original Schwarzenegger vocal performance.
Thankfully, they kept that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to see no dubbed. I want to hear the real Arnold.
The film was released on home video under the title Hercules Goes Bananas.
We're dropping the New York part. By the way, Netflix, if you had to have a last one, this is kind of a good one.
Yeah, I even got one further last one. They did this thing where they were like, okay, you can keep the DVDs that you've got, and in addition, we'll send you up to 10 free DVDs, because they want to get rid of these things. They sent me one.
Oh. You've been in with them forever.
I've been
Come
in
on, Netflix.
2009, yeah. Well, Dylan, I know you're not much of a physical Hercules. Few people are. I certainly am not. But this gift might just make you a mental Hercules.
Ooh. A brain teaser. It's called Brain Teaser Cassette? Cassette?
That's French.
I don't speak that. Challenge your mind. And it looks unopened.
Why don't you open it up and give it a try?
Ooh, wow. Okay, so presumably this is what it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, now you can take that home and try to put it back together.
Thank you for the gift. They treat you right here at the basement.
Well, put down that Nemean lion you've been wrestling with and stride your way on over to the old leather couch, because we're going to take a trip back to old New York town for a little bit of Hercules in New York. Mount Olympus, where the Greek gods and goddesses live to this day. Zeus and Hercules are having an argument. Hercules is bored.
I am tired of the same old faces.
The same old things. Tired of not just staying here.
This will teach you respect for your elders!
Ah! And Hercules disappears. Meanwhile on Earth, Pan Am Flight whatever is soaring through the air. And this old lady looks out the window. It's like that Twilight Zone episode, but with a big beefy guy.
Hercules is now free falling
Into the ocean. He is picked up by an ocean boat. They're trying to figure out who he is, and the only answer they can get out of him is...
I'm Hercules.
God, look at that beast. He's like a walking square. He's as wide as he is tall.
Yeah.
So they decide to give him a job.
He doesn't fit in at all.
He beats up guys when they try and make him do stuff.
I understood him. He's most disagreeable and he has irritated me.
As soon as the boat docks, Hercules says, I'm out of here.
Hey, you guys! $20 for the first man that flattens them.
$20? That would buy me a cannoli and a knish! And gets in another big fight. This funny little man observes everything that's happening. His name is Pretzi.
They get into the first cab they see.
Where to?
This was an era when all New York cabbies wore berets and had little skinny mustache. Where you going?
Well, they call me Pretzi because, you see, I sell pretzels on the waterfront there.
If I sold croissants, they would call me Croissy.
Here, go ahead, help yourself.
Have some of my namesake.
Terrible.
They get to where they're going, which is just wherever.
Oh, this is good enough.
Drop me off here by the shrub.
That'll be $2.
Kapoo. Would you like another buck? Kapoo.
Pretzi tells Hercules to pay the cab driver. Hercules doesn't have any money. They go back and forth on this issue for some time.
You don't have any money?
Eventually, the cab driver, irate, gets out of his cab, and he is going to engage Hercules in fisticuffs.
How dare you touch him?
Ah, my belly! And then he does this. He tipped it right over.
That was his first, what are they called?
The first labor of Hercules.
Oh, yeah, labor. So after robbing and depriving this cabbie of his livelihood, they walk over to a park, and there's some college boys who are also in the Olympics, I guess.
They're doing the old decathlon, and that's something that Hercules is familiar with, being an ancient Greek.
I'm Hercules.
Hercules!
Put that discus down. You have no business out here.
Those men do not throw it far enough.
Arnold, please, lay off the Quaaludes. I know it's 1970 and they're really popular right now, but you have a job to do. A 1, and a 2, and a 3!
Put your money where your mouth is.
I do not have any money.
We know that, Hercules.
Professor Camden and his daughter, her name is Helen, and they think he's quite an interesting specimen.
Who is this fabulous strongman?
Here's our card.
We'd like to educate your freak Greek monster.
They invite Pretzi and Hercules to tea. Hi, I'm here for the tea.
Won't you be seated?
Thank you.
See, when he sits on the couch, she should just go, whoo! Like, because of the weight, That's how I would...
Yes. Oh, that's comedy. That's what this movie
What is this supposed to be? Is it a comedy? It's a drama? What is this?
There's this guy. Hey, what's up? Nice to see you.
I'm Hercules.
So you're Hercules, I'm Rod Nelson. Now what?
Rod Nelson. Rod. Hot Rod.
Hey, Hike!
Helen decides to spend a whole day in New York City with Hercules, and they have a surprisingly good time. A zookeeper who's very bad at his job finds out there's a bear missing.
Escape from zoo. 1 600-pound grizzly bear.
Hercules and Helen are on a date near the zoo. I think you know where this is going. That bear runs amok. Hercules sees him, and he just beats the crap out of the bear.
Make him stop, Matt!
We think the bear is dead, but the bear's okay. The bear's a guy in a suit.
The bear attack makes the news the next day, the front page headline.
Pretzi decides that Hercules would be a champion wrestler. Hercules goes on to win a series of wrestling bouts because he's undefeatable. Ah, but the mob steps in. We're going to buy out your contract. If you know what's good for you, you'll sign.
Fat Lips and Nitro and me will take care of everything.
Fat Lips, Nitro, and Gary.
Gary Smoke Eyes.
Tell your boy I'll be seeing him.
Tell you, boy, I wouldn't want to be being him. Pretzi gets so depressed by this. He picks up a bottle of whiskey and starts drinking it.
Meanwhile, up there in Mount Olympus, Zeus is all over the place.
I charge you with a mission.
he's going to send Nemesis.
Take with you my wish that Hercules be punished for setting himself against me.
Mercury steps in. Don't do that. Let me go talk to Hercules. Zeus says fine. Hercules and Helen continue to date. You could project a movie on him right now. Hercules gets a camera from somewhere.
Better use a high f-stop.
Cut! The chopper!
Okay, I was waiting for you to do it. It was like, is he gonna do it?
Greetings, Hercules.
Mercury, what brings you down here?
You are confusing these mortals with your behavior.
There's a man, he plays me so well. They shower money on him. His proofs, they know me.
It's Brof's jabroni.
And then Mercury leaves. Pretzi sees this and he goes goo and gaga with surprise. Turns out that Helen is dating Hercules at the behest of the professor, who wants to observe the giant beast and find out more about him, for professorly reasons.
Oh, the young man's aberration may be a mild megalomania.
The young man's aberration clearly is an overactive pituitary gland. Pretzi shows up at their apartment. I have drunk. He's trying to tell them what happened with the guy jumping out the window.
Hercules, do you have anything to drink?
Well, I might have had a couple of snorts.
You ever drink whiskey through a pretzel gap? Nemesis is going to go and do Zeus's bidding, but Juno intercepts her. I got an idea.
Take away Hercules' godlike strength.
See, I've got this ring with a very unattractive blue gem on it, and it's full of this powder that will make Hercules mortal for a temporary time. Nemesis agrees.
On your way back, make a little detour.
Pick me up some of those bagels I hear about.
She goes to a bar, spikes his drink, and he drinks it. Chugga chugga, I love booze. Nemesis goes to see Pluto. Hercules is going to be immortal, so why don't you go use that to your advantage? Pluto says yes. Pluto talks to Herc's mob managers. Here we go. It's Nutsy and Knuckly.
No,
and
Nitro.
Nitro and Fat Lips. And Knuckles.
And Gary.
And he's going to bet
$20,000
on Hercules to lose his next match. Sure, we'll take that action. Why does this high-powered mob guy choose to wear a Chico Marx hat?
20 grand, huh? It's a lot of dough.
It's almost 21 grand. On television, there is a barbell lifting contest.
Now, speculation throughout the city has been rife.
Is this the news? Hercules doesn't know that he's lost his strength. There's a barbell that is 1,000 pounds heavy. Hercules tries to lift it and he can't do it. He doesn't understand what's wrong. Shucks. I'm going to try it again. I am a big strong boy. I am a big strong boy. The mob gets really upset that Hercules lost it.
Get the boys.
Get the boys.
Get the boys. Get the boys. Get the boys. Get the boys.
And a chase scene ensues.
And then the professor and Helen are getting involved.
It seems like they could have just went home at this point, but they didn't. So there's 2 station wagons driving around New York and all over Central Park.
Hercules runs outside and he says, "We need a chariot." And there's a chariot there. There's a guy who's involved in some theatrical pursuit. And Hercules steals his chariot and he rides it down Madison Avenue, New York City. Big chase. Back on Mount Olympus. Can anyone tell me what's going on? The mob catches up to Hercules.
Here comes Tony.
Where's all the other guys?
They're running out of...
No, you don't need Tony. There's too many of these guys. It's just like, make sure you give Tony a line in the movie.
Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold the door! Hold door! Hold door! Hold door!
Hercules is in great peril.
If Zeus does not relent, there's nothing we can do.
He had to really think of that line. Like, he lost it.
I think someone just like wrote it here.
Mercury steps in and he sends in 2 titans, Samson and Atlas. Titans? I don't know my Greek stuff so good. Samson's from the Bible. Atlas is I think a titan. Doesn't matter. They're beating up the mob. Zeus doesn't like the fact that his son is being bested by mortals, and so he intervenes. Hercules gets his strength back, and the mob guys are all killed, maybe? I don't know. Later on, Hercules and Pretzi are visiting the Empire State Building.
Which is super romantic. And they agree if they're not married in 20 years, they're going to meet back there and get married.
No, they don't.
All right, that didn't happen. No.
I've never been up here before, you know. Kind of makes you feel like...
Suicidal! Hercules makes a plea to Zeus. Says, I want to come home. And I'll do whatever you say, Zeus. He disappears. He goes back to his home.
Where'd you go, Herc?
He goes back to his apartment and mopes around. But what's happening on the radio?
Don't grieve, my friend.
What?
Herc? We are friends, you and I.
It's Hercules. It's not.
And nothing can take that from us.
I think this is the original voiceover, right?
Yeah,
Herc? Herc?
Well, this isn't Hercules. This is Paul Harvey. I have a message for you, Pretzi. You'll be okay. Back on Mount Olympus, Hercules and Zeus have mended fences.
Leave me now.
For I need to call my agent and fire him.
Definitely not New York traffic behind me.
That's clearly heavy New York traffic in the background.
Why does my son the only one that gets to have fun?
Outside of a Pan Am flight, they look out the window and they see a guy. Oh boy, that is the kind of adventure you have with Hercules in New York.
This has been this company's last feature film.
Hercules in New York. He is Hercules.
You gotta really hand it to Arnold Schwarzenegger. That guy has improved.
You look at this as the beginning of the arc of his career. It's astounding how far he got.
And you said it during the movie.
Who gave him permission to pretend to be Hercules?
He's getting better as the movie goes on. Like, that was almost convincing.
That does not excuse why everyone else in that movie was terrible.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Arnold Stang was Arnold Stang. I think the movie needed him, though. Because everyone else was so dull.
And pointless to the plot.
You said it on the couch.
Just like too many characters.
Too many characters who don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yet we were supposed to know who they were and why they were there. What were some of the pros of the movie?
If you like muscle guys.
There's definitely a lot of beefcake strutting around. The cinematography is competent.
It had some cool looking shots.
And it's a lot of great period New York photography. This movie should have been porn.
Yes.
It should have been Hercules goes down to New York City and he just gets all kinds of laid.
It was shot like a porn, like a good
it
porn.
Really was,
like
yeah.
a vintage. But the acting was just about the same level.
Yeah.
And like, why Pluto? It didn't make sense.
Yeah, the whole Pluto thing.
It's just like, just throw more things at it and it'll be okay. It's a fish out of water concept, clearly, right? But Arnold was definitely the highlight of it. I mean, they took his shirt off whenever there was any reason to.
Sure.
So it must have been like, this guy is just incredible. Just his build.
I think they thought, if we just put this guy on a movie screen, people will come and see it and they'll be amazed. And it doesn't matter what he's doing.
It was sort of fun.
It was sort of fun.
But it's a good thing we watched it so other people don't have to.
Yes. I have a bold statement to make.
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger might be the greatest movie star of all time. Because if you look at his box office, it's just billions and billions of dollars.
I mean, Terminator and stuff's pretty cool.
Yeah. He's done all these movies that still hold up.
Yes.
He can do action and comedy, and he can kind of do drama. He did that Zombie Daughter movie, and it wasn't bad. He's got charm and camera presence that are natural. They can't be taught.
Yes.
Although, when you look at this movie, maybe he learned it from somewhere. He brings a physicality to the screen that no other actor has done in the history of movies. No one looks like that.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say Harrison Ford. You look at Harrison Ford and you think, well, he's a legend and he's great. But Harrison Ford shares a lot of qualities with John Wayne or Gary Cooper and people like that. There's no one like Schwarzenegger. No one even comes close. Not even Stallone, who is a better actor, but doesn't have the range of Schwarzenegger.
You're interested in what this guy's doing. Obviously charismatic. I mean, he got elected the most populous state in the union, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
And it's not because everyone thought he was a genius. It's because he's got real charisma, Mm-hmm. People trust that.
Hercules has returned to Mount Olympus. He is no longer in New York. And we are no longer going to talk about that movie. Instead, we are going to talk about Seen It.
Seen It.
Alexander Hawk writes, You People with Eddie Murphy and Jonah Hill, among many others, was just awful and painful to watch. Seen It.
I didn't think it was painful.
No, but it was definitely bad.
Are you sure it didn't solve racism in America? I'm pretty sure it did.
What was that thing you texted me?
My main takeaway is that white people also like sneakers.
It's basically Romeo and Juliet. There's a white man and a black lady. They get together and fall in love, and their parents don't get along because the black parents are stubborn and intolerant, and the white parents are idiots. Jonah Hill and his co-star, they have absolutely no chemistry whatsoever.
I disagree with you.
You disagree
I
with
mean,
me
I thought
on
it was
that?
okay. Like that, they like sort of barely pulled it off.
There was a scene where they're both in bed together and they're kind of playing around, and I'm thinking, did they sleep together already? Are they about to sleep together? I had no idea. Because there's no sparks between them at all. I think Jonah Hill shouldn't have played that role because he's too old and he's just not right for it.
Julia Dreyfus is just like...
That was the other thing I hated about it.
She was not good.
She played the most dumb cliche trope of a white mom. She's one of the brilliant comedians of our time, and she deserves better than that.
Ryan Holland writes, Oppenheimer. Really engaging biopic with strong performances by Murphy and Downey Jr. I think the real star was the cinematographer. Ooh. And Murphy doing his best dramatic Robin Williams voice impersonation.
He did sound like Robin Williams at times.
Yes.
I didn't like it. I thought the script was riddled with cliches. I thought it had 300 characters too many. It tried to incorporate too much from the book.
Yeah.
Now, a friend of mine saw the movie and she had read the book, and so she got a lot of stuff. I didn't get a lot of stuff. They kept talking about the Chevalier incident, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And so the movie presumes you know all this stuff, and if you don't know it, it doesn't show it to you.
I guess I liked it as tackling the history of all of that era. That this one guy is sort of responsible for this hugely important world event.
But the cliches, I think, were really what got me. How can a man see so far into our universe, yet be so blind?
Oh, I thought
that's like some
good.
Captain Kirk shit.
But they... yeah.
It's too long.
Yeah, I did...
They could have told that movie in 2 hours. They could have done it.
There was a lot to tell, though.
They could have done it.
I did think there some of the dialogue, like, they could have almost avoided it.
They get to the end of detonating the bomb, and the bomb detonates, and everyone's awed. And he says, I am death, destroyer of worlds, and all this stuff. And then there's a guy in the background who goes, it worked. Clayton Kondo, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Probably my favorite movie title, Seen It.
Seen it.
Stanley Kubrick. It's
Awesome.
Another movie about the bomb.
Kind of perfect in a way, too, isn't it?
It's clearly a comedy, but it's also weirdly serious at times. The tension that they engineer in certain one of those scenes, it's, worthy of the best drama. I don't know what film stock they're using, but it gives it kind of a documentary feel.
Absolutely.
You get the sense that you're seeing a newsreel or something.
And I just love that, like, a big part of the plot of it centers on what's going to get America. Our go-gettedness. Like, this pilot would not quit.
Yeah.
Right? He's just doing it. I just love the war room scenes. Those are all very funny.
You can't come in here. We'll see the big board.
TJ, DG. Oh, brother, where art thou? It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. The acting, dialogue, cinematography, direction, and casting are among the best ever. And that soundtrack is probably the greatest movie soundtrack of all time. Probably the best movie of the 21st century.
That is a bold statement. I've seen it, and you make a good case. It really shows George Clooney's range, that he can do the broadest of broad comedy.
It was more approachable than most Coen brother movies.
Oh, yeah? Despite the parallels to Greek mythology?
Yeah, that's sort of a fun side note, though, right? If you know it, it's like, ooh.
If you know it, you know it, and if you don't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
See, that was a problem I had with Oppenheimer. If you didn't know it, it was a problem, because you couldn't follow the movie.
It is a cool movie.
Yeah.
I've seen it!
Check out our website, welcometothebasementshow.com, and there are PayPal donation buttons that you can click on to make a one-time or rolling monthly donation to support this show. If you like it, your support is greatly appreciated. And I'm going to shout out 3 one-time donors of late. First of all, there's Mathieu. That was my name in French class.
Ooh.
Thomas and Rowan, who gave a very generous donation, and says, I've been watching since I was in high school and still male. And I've always loved your stuff. Thanks for the countless hours I've spent watching and rewatching your show. Thank you, Rowan, and everyone who donates. Mwah.
You should donate for me. You'll use that. Want me to do it again? Yo, donate. All right, you'll use that one, right?
I'll use them both.
Okay, use them both.
I
Make
guarantee
sure
you. Dylan's not going away just yet. You can see him next week on the unboxing show. We've got some boxes to open and some fun to have.
I didn't even know about it.
And now, take a look at this.
She sent 2 serpents to destroy him as he lay in his cradle. But Hercules strangled them with his hands.
I was strangling the serpent the other night. It was quite pleasurable.
I'm Hercules,